Christine Cushing, and welcome to another helping of my favorite foods. Today, I'm taking you back to my birth country, Greece, and we are gonna make a tender, delicious, soft pita Greek style. Bamne, that means let's go. I'm making a sponge method. So first thing is sugar's going in. It's just about a half a teaspoon just to get the yeast going. A little bit of warm water, plain yogurt. So after the yogurt goes in, now I'm gonna add the flour. I love adding a combination of whole wheat and white flour, both bread varieties. Bread just has a higher protein, so it'll give you a fluffier pita. The white flour, always using unbleached. I'm not gonna put it all in just because I want it to be a certain texture. Last, but certainly not least, in the sponge, I'm adding yeast. Only if I have instant yeast can I add it this way dry, okay? If I don't have instant yeast, I'm gonna put it in with the water and let it foam and then add it. Now we stir. So all I wanna do here is stir that until it starts to get a bit, I would say it resists a little bit. That should take about a minute or so. So now, all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna wrap it in some plastic so that it seals, and I'll let it sit in a warm place in my kitchen for about 40 minutes or so until it doubles in bulk. 40 minutes later, this is what I'm looking for. It's gonna start foaming a little bit. Now I can add the rest of my ingredients and continue my dough. First thing I'm gonna do is sprinkle it with the salt, always separating the salt and the yeast, the olive oil. This is, by the way, not gonna be that hollow pita that has a big sort of concave or a big hole in the center that you can fill things. It's gonna be soft and tender and pliable, and oh, it's gonna be so good. Now I wanna add the flour, but I don't want to add the whole thing because I don't know what's happening in the humidity of my room. So I add a little bit, stir, and then if it needs more, then I'll keep adding. Now I'm going to turn it on to my wooden board and continue to knead by hand. Making sure that I get every little drop of this, because that's going to alter the texture. Still a little sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour. What makes this Greek style pita more tender than a, let's say, a Middle Eastern style pita? It's the yogurt, it's the olive oil. So the gluten in the flour is making it nice and dense and stretchy, but then the yogurt and the olive oil come in and break those strands. So what happens? It becomes a more tender and delicate dough. That's why I like using the bread flour, because you get this kind of push and pull, a bit of softness, and then you still want a little bit of stretch, right? Did I mention this was a full body workout? I love it though. By the way, you can make this all in a stand mixer with a hook, the dough hook, but I'm going old school. See, it's still tearing a bit, so I know it's not fully kneaded. See how it's not coming together? So now you get it. Let's see, I think we're just about there. It's gotta be smooth and just slightly tender when you touch it so that it just feels a bit sticky. I think it's right on the money. Look at that. That is one beautiful piece of dough. Now that it's kneaded, I want to let it rest again. So I'm going to take a bowl, always a little bit of oil in it. And this should take about an hour and a half until it's doubled in bulk. I want to make sure it's fully covered. And then we get to make some pitas. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So that was an hour and a half. And this is gonna make 8-inch pitas. So I'm gonna cut them into wedges so that they're evenly sized. And there's a bit of olive oil on here. That's okay. And then I flatten one at a time, dusting with a little bit of flour. Now what I want to do after I roll them all out to about 8 inches, they're going to be pretty thin. I'm going to let them rest for another 10 or 15 minutes just so they start to soften a bit. Then we're going to pan fry them in a dry pan. And now it's time to fry them. So what I've done is remove the excess flour off the board, and I'm just going to take a little brush with some olive oil, and I brush one side of the pita. Look how beautiful that looks. Like this. My pan is now preheating. This is truly gonna take me back to being a little kid in Athens the first time I went back. I was 7, but I do remember it. And that soft, fluffy pita on the street. Little souvlaki in there. Take a bite. Oh, crazy good. This is that pita. Oh, look at the bubbles coming up. Now I want to peek a little bit because I want to make sure that my heat is right. I don't want to burst bubbles. Oh, it's right on the money. Pan bread, which this is pretty much like pancakes. You get into a rhythm, the heat's right on, and then you've got it going. But you just want to make sure that it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. So let me see what's happening here. And press down a bit too. Tell someone's excited about the pita. Look how beautiful they are. I want to show you. Look at this. Do you see how tender these are? Unbelievable. Of course, I have to taste one for you, and I gotta do it with tzatziki. That's the real Greek way. That's it. I'm there. The tenderness, it's just so beautiful with this amazing tzatziki. Also, I want to know when you're going to have your pita making station because it's such a cool thing. Thank you for joining me on My Favorite Foods. Be sure to subscribe and let me know what you want me to cook for you. See you. Opa.